Small one. Hold on, because the guests have arrived. It's that time of the show when we have guests in the studio. We've got a full house today as well. You know, I've got 3 microphones here, and it's not often that I get all 3 of them filled up, but I have this morning. So before I introduce all 3 of them, I'm going to bring in the wonderful Adam, who I've known for many years now, actually, when you were you the general manager?
I was, yes.
You were the general manager at the...
used to be the Avonmouth Hotel.
That's when I first knew it, yes. And I think that's when I probably first met you, Adam, when it was the Avonmouth that they did all that refurb. And it's a fabulous hotel now, isn't it? It's actually a chain of hotels. It's part of a chain of hotels.
Yes, it is.
Now?
It's part of Harbour Hotels, and they rebranded about 10 years ago now.
Yeah. And it's amazing, isn't it? So, you're no longer. Are you no longer working at the?
No, I'm not working
Harbour?
No, I retired 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah,
now.
I know all about that retirement malarkey. yeah. I've got a husband who retired. Yeah, and he's yes. Anyway, so in your retirement, you are now part of this amazing charity that was established in 2015.
2015, correct.
Okay, so whose idea was it, Adam?
Okay, I wish I could take the credit for it. It's actually a chap called Nick Roach. He's chairman of Harbour Hotels. Okay. And he came up with the initiative and said to me, Adam, I've got something which I think we should really do something with.
Is that Dennis Roach's son?
That's Dennis's son,
right,
yes.
Okay.
So he said, I've got something which I think has really got some wonderful sort of legs and we should do something about it, and came up with this incredible concept of donating unsold rooms. So
that's it. So basically we're donating unsold rooms.
Yeah, what we do is we ask hoteliers to treat an unsold room as a wasted asset. Exactly the same principle of having a shelf life. It's got shelf life of 24 hours. So last night's vacant room can never be resold again. So why not use that wasted asset in some very worthy cause? So that's how sort of it all started 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay, so just explain to the listeners that we have these empty rooms.
Yes. What we do is we have these empty rooms throughout many hotels, and then what we do is that we ask the hoteliers to donate this unsold room in the form of a short break, and then we at the same time go to registered charities and say, I'm sure there's wonderful volunteers, like you were saying a bit earlier, some wonderful volunteers who you want to say thank you to, the most outstanding ones. And then what we do is we get the registered charities to make the nominations, and we get the hoteliers to donate these unsold rooms and put the two together.
It's just amazing, isn't it? What a wonderful thank you to these volunteers.
Correct.
Who and I do a lot of volunteer work, and I understand that, you know, we're giving up our time. And most of us, I would say, probably all of us, we love it. We love what we're doing, and we don't do it for any thanks.
Well, what's quite interesting is that every single volunteer, they don't expect anything. They don't expect anything. So suddenly to be told, you know, you are very special, you are doing a wonderful job for us, and it's a very tangible way of saying thank you. So it's got a real powerful impact.
Absolutely, it definitely does. But there's quite, I was just, as you were speaking about that, I was thinking the logistics of setting that up. It's because you don't have a lot of time to do it, do you?
Well, yes and no, really. I sort of probably do up to about 3 days a week now. I love doing it.
In your retirement?
It's all sort of, it's done a full circle, almost back into full-time employment. So I do it about 2 or 3 days a week. I've got Joe, who you'll be introduced to a bit later.
Let's bring Joe in. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Yeah, you're perfect there. Just for this sound check then. So, Joe, you are working with... Adam. I know I was going to call you Dennis then because I was still on Dennis Roach mode.
Yeah, Adam.
Yeah, yes. Adam. You are working with Adam.
Yes, that's right. I joined just towards the end of last year, just at the end of October.
Okay. And what's your role?
I'm the marketing manager, so I sort of came in to help Adam sort of grow the awareness of what we're doing as a charity, bring more charities on board, hotels on board, and really get word of our scheme out there. Because, like you sort of both said, you know, when I saw the job advertised and I read about the scheme and looked more into it, it's sort of it's brilliant, but also so simple at the same time, and you sort of think, wow,
and the best things always are simple, aren't they? Usually, you know.
Yeah, and so, you know, having these hotels that, you know, they know there's going to be times of the year where they're not going to be at maximum capacity, so why not use that opportunity to to offer a break to someone who is really out there making a real difference, and really having a positive impact on people's lives.
Okay, but as a business, as a hotel, how at what point would the hotel say, we're not going to sell that room?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We allow, obviously what we don't want to do is to displace any revenue. So we ask the hoteliers only to donate this room when they know they're going to be possibly not full, which is on a Sunday night.
Okay.
It's on a Sunday and Monday night. It's in the leaner months of the year. It's out of season.
Okay.
All hotels are different in terms of what their sort of maximum capacity is. So some hotels say, on a Friday and Saturday night we can't do it. That's not a problem. Because, whatever days of the week it is, the hidden hero will be just so overwhelmed and chuffed. They won't worry.
Of course. So how much notice is the volunteer going to have?
They don't. There is no restriction. So they can book 6 months out. They can book 3 months out. They could book next week. There is no restriction.
So at what point would you say to the volunteer, you've been nominated as a wonderful volunteer and we're going to give you this wonderful gift?
Yeah.
At what point, how much notice would they have for going away?
They can book 6 months out,
okay.
9 months
right,
out.
Okay.
The only thing is that we do ask it to be taken within 1 year of their nomination.
Right. So now I understand it.
Yeah,
so they're nominated and
the
nomination comes into you.
That's it.
And you've got your little list there.
Yep.
And then they can just say, I want to go.
Choose, yep. And we've got 150 hotels in the scheme now.
150?
Throughout the UK.
Wow.
And in Paris and Berlin. We've even got, and in fact, one of our hidden heroes went to the hotel in Paris at the weekend on Friday and Saturday night, I think.
Well, we should have had that hidden hero come in and tell us all about it, shouldn't we, really? They're not back yet. Well, maybe we can have them back.
And I have a feeling from memory, I think it was from the YMCA.
It was Bournemouth Citizens Advice.
Citizens Advice Bureau.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yes.
Is where she came from, yeah.
So do you get testimonies about these volunteers as to why they are nominated?
Yeah, this is very, very important to ensure the absolute integrity of the scheme. We have to be given a very compelling reason why they're being nominated, and the nomination can only come via a registered charity.
Okay.
So that way the right people are getting rewarded. So it is important, absolutely.
Wow, amazing. So you're involved in the marketing?
Yes.
Okay, so how does that work? What is your job? What are you doing?
Well, if you ask Adam, it's just sitting on Twitter all day.
Yeah.
But it's
great job then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just sitting there on your social media account.
So it's running our social media accounts. It's promoting this campaigns and events that we do. It's doing press releases and things, making sure our website's all up to date, doing a lot of the content on there. And in a lot of ways, I'm very lucky because we, as a charity, we are sitting on a goldmine of amazing stories, and we're privileged to be able to get them out there and sort of say, look at what this amazing person's doing for this charity. Look at this difference that this person's making.
Wow.
And it's a very nice antidote to a lot of the negative things you see a lot of the time in the news and stuff, to sort of come into work and realize, and you read about these people and read their nominations and what their charities say about them, and you sort of think, well, these are the people that we should be shouting about, should be celebrating. And obviously it's some volunteers are more willing to have their story shared than others, because a common characteristic is they don't do it for any fuss or attention or anything, which is why I think a lot of the time when the thank you comes to them, they're quite shocked and overwhelmed, because the one thing we're told by nearly all of our charity partners, which is around about 130 now, similar to the hotels charities all over the UK, is that the people that they put forward are always the sort of volunteers that are absolutely adamant that nothing should come from the charity for them, not even a box of chocolates or flowers or anything. They realise that the charities run on very tight budgets. So for us being able to provide something that has a monetary value that it can run into sort of thousands of pounds depending on the hotel, and being able to give it at no cost to either the hotel or the charity or the individual is it just brings everything together in a really
Absolutely,
nice
it
way,
does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We are involved in a charity called Acts 435. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a Christian charity.
Right.
It's a marvellous concept, and I'm not going to steal your show over that. But when you were speaking about monies coming in and out of charities, this charity runs on a shoestring. It's basically an internet-based charity. It comes from the Bible book Acts chapter 4 verse 35, where Paul is telling the people who have plenty they should be giving to those that don't have. So this charity basically runs on the internet, and if you have somebody in your area that is really in need, you can go onto the website. You can my husband will put a little story up on their website. Anybody can read that story, and then you can donate as little as £5 or up to a maximum of 120. But the charity, which is based in the Archbishop's Palace in York, because I think it was instigated by the Archbishop of York, they run on no money at all. The only way they have any money coming in is the gift aid.
Oh, yes.
So that's the money that they use for the administration. So no money that anybody donates goes into the charity. It all goes to the need. So the charity is just furnished by the gift aid, which is amazing, isn't it?
Mm.
Absolutely.
What an amazing way
Fantastic,
to run that. So anyway, so you're involved in promoting and just getting it out there. So presumably you're the one that was involved in the article in the Christchurch Courier.
Yes.
Yeah, which
that
is
was
where
me,
we
yeah.
read about it. Yeah,
Oh, excellent.
Which is where we read about it, and I thought this is amazing.
Yeah, fantastic.
So,
We actually
yeah.
had a number of very small local charities get in touch with us in the weeks or so after that. Yeah, it was a really useful avenue, because obviously we are here for charities of all shapes and sizes. You know, we have certain guidelines in how our scheme runs that make sure that everyone has the chance to benefit from this scheme, and because also, you know, a lot of the nominations that we get from the small charities is where they are really reliant on their volunteers, and that's where a lot of the most extraordinary stories come from. So
Definitely.
the Courier was a great outlet for us.
Great. Let's I think we'll give the listeners some music, I think, and then we are going to bring in our third guest who has had a benefit from this or whose charity. We've got the phone ringing. Let's pop the music on. Anyway, so we have Adrienne here with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you come a bit closer to your microphone? There we are.
Hello, yes,
I think that's
sorry.
better. So you are head of marketing.
Yes.
So we've got two head of marketing guests with us this morning. But you are involved with the Dorset Children's Foundation.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's have a little bit of an update on the Dorset Children's Foundation. Where are you based?
Okay. We're based in Boscombe.
Okay.
I'm very honoured to work for the Dorset Children's Foundation. We've started with just one charity shop in 2013. There was a disused shop. And
In Boscombe?
In Boscombe, yes. And Patsy and Scott, the founders, saw an opportunity. They saw the empty shop, and another shop up the road was actually failing and closing down. And they got donated all the fittings from that shop, and they got every neighbour, child, friend, stranger to come and help fit the new shop out. And that became our first ever charity shop. So that was in 2013. We've now got 3 charity shops, and they fully fund all our overheads.
So where are the other 2 shops?
So there's one in Boscombe High Street, one at Folkestone Station, and one in Southbourne.
Oh, so they're all fairly central, aren't they?
Yes,
they're all
fairly near
local
to each
Okay,
other. That's
yeah.
right, and it's fantastic for the community because they come in, give their unwanted goods that is someone else's treasure. You know, all the items in there are priced to reflect the local community as well, so they're sort of low priced. And as I said, you know, they fully fund our modest overheads, which we do keep very low. So we donate every penny that's given to us to a local sick or disabled child. That's why we exist.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about some of the children who you serve then. So are they all sick children, or do they have other needs?
Yes, I mean they're all either disabled or sick. Unfortunately, some have got life-limiting conditions. We've just been selected to be one of few charities in the UK to send some of our children to Give Kids the World in Florida, which is a fantastic holiday village where they can go with their family and have the holiday of a lifetime. So we're very honoured to be able to do that.
And that's all funded through the charity?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yes, and
that's
we've actually,
amazing.
I mean, we fund operations, so we've got a few children that would have been completely wheelchair users for the rest of their lives, and we have funded SDR operations and also fund all the physiotherapy that's needed after that. And I've actually seen a little boy who couldn't walk, and he can now walk.
Gosh.
And we've
Fantastic,
donated over
Puts a
500.
lump in your throat,
Yeah, it
doesn't
does.
it?
It gets me every time. But we've given over £500,000 to local sick and disabled children. And it might be because I'm fortunate I've got 2 able-bodied children, and I didn't know. I thought if you've got a disabled child, you'd have everything thrown at you, but it really is not the case. You get the bog standard NHS wheelchair that if your child's got epilepsy and they need to sleep, that one won't tilt back. It's hard to get in the car, it's heavy, it's cumbersome. We will provide a wheelchair that is a huge expense. We've just donated one to a child. It was £3,600, and that one is all singing and dancing, you know, and it might be pink if it's for a little girl and have flashing lights on it, and it's something that they love, and you know, it's absolutely fantastic.
So these are local children?
Yes,
Okay.
only Dorset.
Okay.
Yes.
So is it all of Dorset?
Yes, it is all
it?
of Dorset. I mean, we are very small. We'd like to spread out a bit, you know, subject to being able to. So if there are people out there that have got disabled children and they need some help, we get our referrals from many different ways. It may be that the family's gone to buy a wheelchair, they see the price of it, can't quite afford it, and the actual wheelchair supplier will say, try the Dorset Children's Foundation.
Wow.
It might be occupational therapists as well that actually, you know, say come to us. So yeah, we're very open to help. And the thing with us is many disabled children are actually undiagnosed, so they don't fall into a certain category for a certain charity, be it cerebral palsy or whatever. But if your child's got a disability, we don't care that it's undiagnosed. We will help. There's no form filling. I mean, there has to be a certain, you know, eligibility for you to be able to get help from us, but you don't have to fill in forms, you don't have to wait 6 months or more, which is very important if your child has got a life limiting condition and you need something now, you know. That's what we will
So
provide.
most of your funding is coming through these 3 shops?
Subject to funds. Yeah, well we do, yes, I mean, lots of the funding is coming through the shops, but we also actually set up funding schemes. So if your child is disabled, we would set up a Just Giving page and give a fundraising pack, and it is invariably, you know, the people with the children, it might be their neighbours, their friends, their colleagues, their family, that will do like a little cake sale or might want to do a skydive or anything else, and that will go into their fundraising pot. And then if we've got the money, because obviously funds are limited, but if we have got the money there, we can say, here you go, here's a nice little chunk for your fundraising pot as well, depending on funds.
Wow.
Yeah,
Absolutely amazing, isn't it?
it is fantastic.
So
charity.
how do you see funds? Are they, you know, no charity has ever got enough money.
No.
I appreciate that.
No.
But do you see a generosity among?
We do. I mean,
Do
it's
you?
incredible, the generosity, and we're very, very grateful. We have got quite a few charity partners, so we've had some local companies come on board. I mean, I'd like to see every company linked with some charity in some form, whether it be us or someone else.
Do you know, that is,
because-
I've never thought of that myself,
Yeah.
but that is so right,
Yeah.
actually. All businesses should really
Yeah, it's good
aim to
for-
link themselves to a charity, shouldn't they?
Yeah, and I think they get some sort of tax relief if they make a donation. I'm not sure on all that. I'd have to look into it, but I think, you know, it wouldn't cost them as much as they might be able to give. And for example, you know, a big company did a dress down day. They gave us £800. It was a big company, but employees just paid £2 to be able to wear their jeans to work that day. We got £800, you know,
amazing,
which is
isn't it?
incredible. We've also got a fantastic charity partner in Urban Guild, and we had a fundraising dinner down at Urban Reef, and all the staff worked for free. They even gave their tips. Local producers gave produce. A really lovely guy did a quiz for free. One of our main supporters did some music and played the guitar, and the whole night was fantastic, and they raised £3,600 from that. We were then able to take Delilah, who was the little girl that benefited from it, down there in her brand new wheelchair that bought, so they can see directly where the money went to. And Delilah made a little glittery thank you card, and we're all in tears because it was just phenomenal. So yeah, you can see where the money exactly goes.
Out of interest, I think it's called Urban Beach, is actually one of our hotel partners.
Oh, is it really?
So it illustrates what a very charitable organisation they are.
Yeah.
But people in general are kind, aren't they?
I find that,
I run, or me and my husband run, it's a social media account, I know, but we run a kindness page for all intents and purposes, and you'd be amazed how generous people are. I'm working with a man at the moment who's I was actually gonna say this on air anyway, so I'll say it now. I'm working with a man at the moment who's very vulnerable. He's in his 70s and a very vulnerable man. I won't share too much of his story, but he's in a very difficult place and he's had to be rehomed. He's been evicted from his house, had to be rehomed, and he is very vulnerable. It would be very easy to take advantage of him. And I got him moved into the flat last week, actually in Purewell, and I got all the furniture organised and everything through the Christchurch Food Bank, who are amazing people. But I was going away for the weekend, so I knew I couldn't be there when he was moving in yesterday. And the windows were bare, and the room that he has is a lounge that has to have his bed in it. And I thought, he can't sleep there if he's got no curtains up. So I put a little request out on a Facebook page. Would somebody just, as an act of kindness, come and hang some curtains up, please? It needs the rails to be put up. Well, I can't believe how many people... I can't believe how many people contacted me. And this man came out and put these curtains up. I couldn't thank him enough. Just like what we were talking about earlier, he didn't really see the big deal that he'd done. He didn't understand that it was such a big deal. But it was. It was such a big deal that he would come and give his time like that for somebody who couldn't do it for themselves. And I think you find there are more people out there who are generous like that than you realise. People want to be kind. They want to be nice. But I think often they don't realise that they could make a difference. And I often think, you need to think global but act local. If you're acting local, you can change it globally, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is what you are all doing, all of you are doing, really. You're thinking local, but acting wider out there. So you've been going since, did you say 2013?
That's right, yeah.
2013. So, that's not particularly a long time, really, is it? But you've done some amazing things.
Yeah.
So we're going to play some music for the listeners. When we come back, we'll all talk together because your charity, you're here this morning representing Dorset Children's Foundation, but actually your charity was a beneficiary of these Rooms to Reward. So we'll talk about that after this track.
Deborah Marshall, Real Community Radio.
This is Hope FM.
This is Hope FM. This is Deborah Marshall. Good morning. If you've only just joined us, you have been missing out, I tell you. We are joined by our guests from Room to Reward and Dorset Children's Foundation. So we were just talking before the break all about the Dorset Children's Foundation and how it works. Amazing charity. If those listeners who were with us just before that last track, if you weren't moved by that, wow, I can't understand why, because I was nearly in tears. Marvellous, absolutely marvellous that you're promoting that you're doing this good work for these wonderful children. And you were saying how you've got able-bodied children, as I have, and it's if you've never been involved with a disabled children, I don't think you could possibly understand the practicalities really of having to look after a disabled child day after day. So you, as a charity, nominated one of your volunteers for a weekend or a little short break through Rooms to Reward. So tell me about this. Tell me about the volunteer.
Yes, well, her name's Jill. She's very, very well loved, and she's a tireless volunteer. She helps out in the shop and absolutely everybody loves her. So I mean, it's hard to choose in a way, because
I was
we
just
have got
thinking that.
we have got many wonderful volunteers, but Jill just stood out that little bit more. She's been with us since day one, and she's never let us down, and she's absolutely fantastic. So I mean, we'd be looking forward to nominating more when we're eligible to, but it was Jill that won, and of course she wouldn't want anything in return for her efforts, but she's been fortunate to benefit.
Just take me back to what you just said there, Adam. So Jill was nominated, and now you can't nominate anybody else just yet. So there's a limit as to how many nominations you can make.
What we try to ensure is there's fairness. There's fairness within registered charities.
Okay.
So a small one like the Dorset Children's Foundation, because of their size, it's one a year.
Okay.
But it's an ongoing. It's every year they can make a nomination. But for some of the bigger charities like perhaps Scope or MenCap, because of their size, it would be unfair to only allow them to nominate one person, one volunteer. So we allow them to nominate on a quarterly basis.
Oh, okay.
And they integrate it into their volunteer recognition scheme, because a lot of these big national charities, and smaller ones as well, they do have already in place a scheme to recognise their volunteers, but putting Room to Reward into the mix gives them something very tangible to actually give as part of their scheme. And the one which comes to mind, which is relatively local, is Naomi House.
Yes.
We're outside Winchester. They've been a partner for over 2 years now, and they've really embraced the scheme, and they've put it as part of their volunteer sort of awards, and they're allowed 4 a year. So it really does depend on the size of the charity.
Okay, and is that something that you work out?
Yes, so we have a sort of rough guidelines, and we base it on a charity's annual income, which information we take from the Charity Commission, and then depending on that, you will get 1, 2, 3 or 4 nominations per year. And like Adam says, the reason we do that is for fairness, because with some of our major national partners like Scope or MenCap or Marie Curie or someone, SAFA or another one, they have thousands of volunteers and could nominate someone every day.
Yeah.
Really, in terms of people who deserved this thank you. And we want to make sure that doesn't happen, so that also with the smaller charities, they have the opportunity to thank their particular volunteers as well. People like Jill, and the reason sort of Jill, I think, was such a compelling nomination for us is one of our big things and messages that we talk about is these people are hidden heroes. You don't necessarily read or see about them, but also what they do might be a little bit behind the scenes. So someone like Jill, whose commitment to the shop in Boscombe High Street and the time and effort that she puts in there enables Dorset Children's Foundation to focus on their beneficiaries and the people that need the money and the help and support.
Yeah.
So what she does might not grab headlines in terms of she's not on the front line of the service delivery as such, but what she does enables the charity to do so much more with their time and resources. So she really is the epitome of the sort of hidden hero that gets nominated to us, and we leave it completely up to the charities to choose in terms of whether it's someone who volunteers in an admin capacity or a care capacity or a sort of ambassadorial capacity, whatever they sort of feel benefits them most.
But from your point, I mean, is this the first time that your charity have had a nomination?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
yes.
So I was just wondering, as you were all talking, how you would bring that about. I know that you're all charities, but I was just thinking from a business point of view, if I was a manager of a business, I would probably, and I could only have one a year, let's say, I would probably hold that an annual event.
That's exactly
and it'd be
right.
a presentation, and so I'd be looking all through the year and thinking, this person's sticking out for me, and and just keeping an eye and thinking, that's the way it's going to go. And then at this annual event, whether it's the Christmas dinner or whatever, we would say, you're the one, you've been nominated.
That's right, absolutely, because what we do is that we actually we provide them with a certificate which can then be presented.
Yes, I've seen pictures on your website of the certificate.
Which can then be presented, so they can make a real sort of,
so it is
they
a
can
real,
shout about it.
So that's a real thing, isn't it, that the charity, at whatever event, whether it's the annual general meeting or something, they can just pick out Jill and say, here you are.
Yeah.
fabulous. It's just so wonderful, isn't it? Isn't it wonderful to see such good things happening?
And just to sort of reinforce that point, it is very powerful because so far we've donated over £100,000 worth of hotel stays.
Gosh.
And it's cost the hoteliers very little because it's an unsold room, and it's cost the charities absolutely nothing. So, there's no fundraising required.
No.
There's no money sort of going between the charities and the hotels. It's completely free, and there's no cost.
How do you find, generally speaking, the hotels engage with these guests?
Yeah.
Do they make it something special for them?
Spot on. We actually had a hidden hero, I think sort of end of last week. They went to the Atlantic Hotel in Jersey, and the owner of the hotel met them and welcomed them.
Isn't that lovely?
They got an upgrade. And the owner, Patrick, was fantastic towards them, and he said, I want to do this because I think it's a great scheme.
See, that's just so lovely, isn't it?
It's great, yeah. And what we do is when the sort of hotel gets the request for a stay, we share with them a few details from the nomination, sort of nothing too detailed or personal, obviously.
Absolutely.
But we say, this is who's coming to see. This is the charity they've been volunteering for. This is what they do, and here's a few words of what the charity had to say about them, so that they have an idea.
Yes.
And we found that really is beneficial for the hotels to sort of confirm in their minds that what they're doing is worthwhile, and it's going to these people who are out there making a real difference to the world, basically.
Yeah, definitely. Isn't it wonderful? It's just, the whole concept is fabulous,
Thank
isn't
you,
it?
Debs.
It really. It's a shame that we couldn't. I don't want Dennis's son's name because I only know Dennis. Nick. It's a shame we couldn't have had Nick come in as well, really, isn't it? Because it's just amazing. What a wonderful concept it is. So we've been speaking to you. Do you know what? I'm so touched by your charity. I really think that we need to have you back in.
Yes, please.
And come in as representing Dorset Children's Foundation.
I could maybe bring a parent.
Well, I think that would be amazing to do that. We love to support charities of all descriptions, but I mean, it's just so touching.
They are amazing.
Yeah.
DCF.
Thank you. If anyone wants to learn more, you could like our Facebook page because we're very active on there, the Dorset Children's Foundation, so you get to see the children that we're helping.
Great. So Facebook page, is that the main place where...
Yeah, the Dorset Children's Foundation.
And a plug for Room to Reward as well.
And a plug for Room to Reward
Like us as well.
Yes. Yeah. It's good, isn't it? Yeah. I'm a great social media fan. I've not really worked out Twitter. I sort of opened an account. I don't know what I'm doing. But Facebook, I'm loving it.
Yeah. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we actually sort of first became aware ourselves of a charity of the Dorset Children's Foundation through their Facebook page. And the stuff they put on there is amazing. It's just so uplifting to see, and the things that they're doing for these children is
it's incredible.
Brilliant. Do you know another place locally, because I know you're locally based, is it the Arcado Lounge, isn't it?
Oh,
They're
yes.
very, very charitable, very community focused. And
they support fair trade, I think, amongst other things. Yeah.
And then the next 2 months, April and May, they are supporting Hope for Food, which is a Bournemouth charity.
Brilliant. They're one of our...
Well, they're one of our charity partners.
Yeah.
Well, they're amazing, aren't they,
Fantastic.
what they do?
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they're one of our charity
Arcado Lounge, during April and May, they're doing lots of promotion to raise money. We went to a quiz night there last Monday, and that was all for them. And a couple of the staff, I can't remember the date now, but some date in May, a couple of the staff are going to sleep rough outside the... outside.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I've seen that stuff. Yeah,
it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
they are very, very community focused, and I love that. I love to see in communities people all helping and supporting each other, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Really,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's been amazing having you in. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for inviting us, Debs.
Yeah, and I think we need to have you back again, really, at some point, and perhaps bring a couple more people in that
we'd love to come back. Thank you very much.
And perhaps somebody who's actually benefited themselves.
Yes, that would be nice.
That would
an
be
actual
lovely.
hidden hero.
A hidden hero. What a beautiful way to describe them.
We've had. Is it a start of last month? We had our 200th nomination, which is not bad going. But as we say, it's sort of 200 down, and many more millions to go.
But isn't that just wonderful? Because, there's no limit to this, is
No,
there?
it can go on, and we wanted to go on and on.
And
Our ambition is to donate £1 million worth of hotel stays by the end of year 5.
So you're still looking for hotels, presumably?
Still looking for hotels. If there's any sort of hoteliers out there listening, we'd love to hear from you. We want to hear from more registered charities. So if you're connected to a registered charity, again, make touch with us. Joe, do you want to give our website or some contacts?
Yep, so you can head on over to www.roomtoreward.org, or as I mentioned, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Room to Reward as well.
Okay,
We'd love to hear from anybody out there.
Yay. So, excellent, because I'm involved with a few charities as well, so I'll talk to you about those off air and see if they're on your books, and if they're not, I will let you know their details, because there are some amazing works go on for communities out there. So thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks,
and
thank you.
I know that I'm going to see you all again, definitely. I'm going to play you out. Have you got anyone you want to say goodbye to before we go? I always give you this opportunity. Is Jill listening?
I don't. Jill, hello. I hope you have a lovely stay. And also give a big shout out to Patsy and Scott, the founders of the Dorset Children's Foundation, who work tirelessly and do all they can for local sick and disabled children. So they're amazing people.
Brilliant. And you?
I guess we'll say hi to Katie, if she's listening, who is our colleague from Room to Reward. She's back at the office.
Katie.
And all the hidden heroes, I guess.
All
as well,
the hidden heroes, definitely.
Yeah.
And I'll say thank you to all our hotel partners
and
all our charity partners.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to play you out with Parachute Band, a track called Amazing. There we are, as you all are.